Hey, 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 happy Thursday, everybody. I am jumping in here quickly before my next client because I'm just kind of feeling a little silly, and I think that laughter and being the joke of your own reality is sometimes the best medicine that we can be for each other. And it is Thursday, so I wanted to ask you this. If you're really, really honest with yourself, what are some of the pet peeves that you have, the things that really irritate you about yourself, about the way the world is, about how other people in your life are pushing your buttons? And while I'm waiting for more people to just jump in here, while Facebook is doing its brilliant magic, just type in the chat. What are some of the things that really irritate you? Either about yourself, where you are right now in your life, or perhaps people around you that are triggering you. Just type that in the chat. Let me know. Because the good news is you're not alone. You're not alone, and you're also not as fucked up as you think you are. And I know that it's such an interesting word. One of my clients actually told me that the definition of that is actually fornication under consent of the king. And I'm a bit of a rebel. Those of you that know me, I am a maverick, and I like to shine light and shake things up and get people to literally transform whatever's not working for them. So if you're stuck in your story, you're in good company, because that's where we like to stay. And what if there was a different way? What if there was a different way of being? So give me some love, give me some hearts, tell me that you can hear me. I see there's some people here with me. So say hi, tell me, type in the chat, what are some of the things that really are pissing you off right now, or some of the things that just constantly trigger you, things that irritate you. And you can make a list of this too if you are tuning in and you don't want to type it in the comments. Hi Angela. So let me know, what are some of the things, if you're really, really honest with yourself, what are some of the things that really trigger you, really annoy you? Because here's the thing, most of us delve on the 1%. I always say, it doesn't matter if 99% of your life is working beautifully. It's the 1%, or the 0.1%, 0.1% of the things that irritate and annoy you that actually keep you away from being happy. And happiness is what makes you successful. So I would like to know, how are you keeping yourself stuck in the old pattern repeats with that 0.01% of the things that irritate and annoy you, or that you're judging yourself as wrong for, or that you think that you can't get out of, or that you can't actually fall in love with? Because that's really what I wanted to invite you to do today, is fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with the things that you are defining as wrong or bad or terrible or awful or mean or horrid about yourself, your life, or the people around you. Because the power of choice is yours, and you're the only one that gets to choose to change that. And it's an interesting thing, this sort of play on words that I love of fate, of spirit, fate, and destiny. Is your path is your path. Your life is yours. You chose to be here, and I want you to just take a few moments today to actually just celebrate your wins, celebrate who you are, celebrate where you are in your life. And also the things that come really, really easy to you. The things that you actually take for granted because it's just so easy for you to do. And I love spiritual astrology. I use it in my Pathways to Purpose mapping program, where I take people from looking at their wrongnesses and turning them into celebrating their capacities as a strongness, and how you can actually use your gifts to create a beautiful life for yourself, rather than kill yourself trying to earn a living, struggling and fighting to do things or fit into things that actually don't make you happy. So how are you, what's one thing? Type that in here, Angela. I'd love to know. Type one thing in that's really, really easy for you to do. And if you're listening to this and you're a little shy, just write down A couple of things that are so easy for you that you could do them in your sleep backwards and you'd give them away for free because they're just so easy for you. Because that's where your gold is. And that's what I use, spiritual astrology and Enneagram and some of the personality profiling to really get you to see the shadows and the parts of you that you're denying or pretending or avoiding or would rather not be. So the characteristics and qualities that you can't receive about yourself that are actually your capacities and they're unique to you. And that you take it for granted. You know, what if it could be as easy as just flipping that 1 degree so that you actually get to start to use your innate talents and abilities to live in your true nature and have the life that you want. And type in the chat as well, because that's really what I wanted to play with today, is this looking at capacities that you can't even see in yourself, right? Or that people keep telling you that you're amazing at, and you go, oh, but I'm not. Or, oh, yes, but I wish I wasn't. So what sign, what is your astrological birth chart? What's your sign? And where does it fall? Because this is the funny thing, is that, you know, when we look at water people, and Jonna, I know you're a water person, and there's a depth to you, just like water. You know, you go deep, and you feel everything that doesn't belong to you. That's everybody else's stuff, because you're so sensitive. So if you're a water person, you probably were made wrong as a child for being too sensitive. Oh, you feel too much, or you're just so touchy, and you were made wrong for the capacity to have this ability to be quiet and tune in and listen and feel through your sensitivity, through your spidey senses, how other people were feeling, and then back it up. And that's where oftentimes when water's out, we don't back up, right? Because that would make us way too happy to just be quiet and listen. And just like water, have people. So if you're in business and you're a water sign, and obviously we go a lot deeper than this, but just for the sake of today's funny conversation, of making you your own, you know, laughing at yourself and how cute you are, to think that your capacities are wrong, is if you're a water person, you don't have to speak. You can be quiet and just allow people the space to see their own reflection in you. So when water is still, it's like glass. And you're literally, when your birth sign is in water, people are attracted to the depth of who you are, that you're a good listener, and they get to do all the talking and you just do the reflection. You do the reflection work. So mirror work is brilliant if you just stop talking and don't make yourself wrong for being quiet, for being the one that listens and tunes in. And you know, look at air, for example. So if you're an air person, thank you for the thumbs up. I love to have these fun little conversations. But yeah, so air. No guessing what my birth chart is in, what my north node is in. But you know, airs they love to talk, and they're quite, you know, I'm particularly introvert, but I do small doses of extroversion really well, and I love words, and I love playing, and I love writing, and I love talking, and I have a gift of being able to articulate, hi Bhavna, in a way that makes me really, really happy, and probably has people around me growing up that was like, oh my God, do you ever stop talking? And my sister in the States, when I went to stay with her, and she lives on her own, she's like, oh my God, do you never stop talking? You're always talking, and you're always so excited. And, you know, it's just like, it's a good problem, people. So if you're air and you have the gift of the gab, and you don't know how lucky you are to be able to articulate. And a lot of times people would make you wrong for that. You know, I remember my younger sister used to say to me, oh, you manipulate me with your words. You know, it's just like she felt like she was less than because I had a way with words, and she was a Leo, and Leos like to be seen, and and they like the attention on them, but not too much, because if you give them too much, then they don't want you to look at them. So you know, Leo, he put a water and an air sign together. It's just like, oh my God. Hi Matthew, nice to see you here. Yeah, so I love spiritual astrology, so I'm just having some fun this afternoon. And everyone, if you don't know Matthew J. Peters, tune in, because he is a brilliant transformer himself. I'd love to know what sign you are, Matthew, and where you fall. So yeah, so airs love to talk. They articulate a lot. They make people laugh. This is a good problem too. If you're not using it, like I used to do in my childhood, as a way of protection, which is pretty demeaning, and actually is a capacity, if I think about it now, because through humor, it gives you a place to actually lighten up situations and allow other people to be right. Hi, Anjana. I was just talking about you as a water, as a deep listener. And yeah, so you know, 1% of the time is what we always connect into. We don't remember the great stuff people tell us that we are. We're not able to receive compliments, because it's part of our human nature to always delve on the 1%. You know, the one bad thing that somebody said, or the one comment that they said, and we ruminate and we obsess and we turn it over a million times in our head and we try and get it right. Aquarius. So alrighty, so you water sign, beautiful. So also it's like deep feeling. You know, there's a depth to your work, and there's a depth to being able to tune in, which makes you perfect for what you do, because you have the capacity to reflect back, just like that lake, that calm, still lake, what other people need to hear, and then for them to be able to choose it. So yeah, water people are really good, because when they back up and they just get quiet and feel what other people are feeling, that empathy gene makes them really good coaches and transformational agents, just like you. So you're in the right profession. How do I know? What was that, Bhavna? How do you know what you are? So if you look at your natal chart, and that's a great question, thank you for asking, but if you look at your natal chart, it will tell you what sign you fall into. And if you've done, I know you're one of my clients, so maybe it's time, Bob, for you to come and do your purpose mapping with me. And we actually go deep into spiritual astrology. We look at Myers-Briggs, we do the Enneagram, as well as my Chinese medicine, the 5-element profile, which you can actually take on. In fact, Bhavna, go to my website, and if you look at the top, you can take the quiz if you haven't done so already, and it'll actually give you your primary and your secondary element, and then you'll be able to know what you are, and then this will make a little bit more sense. But it's such a fun place to go, because it really gives us that introspect to be able to look at who we are without making ourselves wrong. You know, it's just like, we're all alchemists, we all come with our own magic, but you cannot, I think that's what I love about this work, is that you get to see the parts that you're refusing and denying, and you get to actually start to see how you can use it to your advantage, because you are who you are. And the struggle, I think, is when you're resisting who you are. Yeah, water and earth, I know you are, and that's so you, Anjana. So yeah, so I wanted to keep this short today, because I've got a client in a minute, but so yeah, celebrate all the places where people have made you wrong, right? For every judgment you receive, think of it as for every judgment, you can push your barriers down and open your heart and totally receive it as a gift. Just see all that money and all that happiness hopping into your bank account. For every judgment you put your barriers up and defend, or have to make yourself right about, just see double that amount of money leaving your bank account. Because remember, currency is connection. And how do we make money? You know, money comes to us through people. It's sitting in other people's bank accounts. And if you can make connection, this is again why I love to know people. And most of the time I can meet people and I can tell them exactly where they fall in the feeding cycle of the 5 elements, what their strengths and their capacities are. And it makes it really good. It's a great way to be able to create those connections. And also I go into this and how you can use the 5 elements to to make connections in your business. You know, water people are all about curiosity. So if you're in your sales process, you want to be able to get really curious and ask questions so that people feel that you're connected and you're tuned in and you're listening. So you really want to use the element of water when you are connecting with people, because the best conversations, some of the best conversations I've been told people have had with me are the ones where I've just tuned in and listened and used that element of water and curiosity to make the connection. So earth people, Anjana, and I know that's your secondary element in your 5-element profile. They're nurturers. You know, they love to feed people. They're very earthbound, so they ground us. They make us feel like we have a foundation, right? And that's their gift. Is they love to care for people. They love cooking. They make great caregivers. And I'm not saying that the other elements don't, but earth people, that's who you are. And you often make yourself wrong because that's the complainer in you, you know, the neediness that earth people can get to be when they're pathological, when there's either too much or too little of you. If you're not grounded as an earthy person, not an airhead like the Gemini, like me, and the Virgos that are very much up in the air, we need you. You know, I couldn't live without my earth people in my life, because they're solid, right? They're like my rock. My earth people are rocks in my life, and they're reliable and they're trustworthy, right? That is that whole consciousness of the stomach and the spleen, and there's an intuitive knowing when earth people are really in their earth element and using it as a gift, that caring is just so natural for them. They're great at taxes. They're great at doing earthbound tasks that other people would find really, really boring. So, you know, I love that. I love the earth people that just seem to sort of move through a house, and before you know it, it's all clean and it's sparkling and there's flowers on the table and everything just looks so homely, right? And they're also those people that you can just fall into their big bosoms and cry and just feel like you're home. And we all need that element of earth because we are of the earth and we're connected to the earth. So you know, I am grateful for the earth people in my life because they get things done, right? They're dependable, they're reliable, and that's why they make great accountants. Metal people as well, because they're very analytical. And so, you know, they can be quite discerning, metal elements. So earthy, I would say metal people are very good at the building. You know, they're the architects. They're the ones that are really good at fiddling with numbers. But earth people are really good at that too, because they know how to build things from the ground up and get it done because they have solid foundations. They're the rock. And the fire element, as you know, we all know the fire people in our lives. If I think about my partner, he's so fire. He has enough energy in him for about 20 Duracell bunnies. You know, they're the ones that were born with an extra battery pack on their back and an inverter or a charger that's constantly plugged in. And they're the ones that are go, go, go all the time. And they just live life. And, you know, life gave them like this extra chi. And they're just, they inspire you. They inspire you to move into action and get going and doing things. And they're just always moving. They love to move. And they can be quite over the top and also very loud and quite indulgent. So also, you know, when you look at what's in your chart, I have a lot of air and I have a lot of fire in my chart. I also have a lot of water. So these are things that, you know, in the feeding cycle, you need it to be moving all the time and you need it to be balancing it out. And you need to be looking at, you know, where can I be in the frequency of what is required, that I can pull on my earth qualities, or I can pull on my fire qualities, or the people in my life that are really that when I can't be it for myself. I always talk about this as standing in the fire for my clients when they can't for themselves, and just holding that space and until they can get moving again. So, you know, fire people are often told they need to tone things down. You know, they're just so loud. I'm always telling my husband, you know, could you just turn it down? Just, he always sort of booms on a 10, and that's Aries. You know, that's very, they like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about everything. And it's quite random. You know, it's just like, what the hell? One minute you're over here and the next minute they're over there. But that's the fire. That's the extra fire. It's just like, they can't help it. You know, they're changing. They're changing all the time, and they're moving all the time. And they're, you know, the ones that are riding, and then the ride isn't enough. And then they got to go and cook. And then they got to go, you know, they're always go, 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 go. So, you know, fire really inspires to get our fire up, you know, in our bodies, because they're just those kind of people that are contagious. You know, it's just like they make you want to get going, and we can't do that when we're seeing it as wrongness. So I think that really was the point of today's little more humorous conversation with me, is to just look at, you know, remember what's great about you. And if you don't know, another exercise I often give my private clients is, go and ask the people that love you, and the people that are your acquaintances, and people that don't know you very well, what they love about you. What is the elements that they love about you? You know, what is the feeling that they feel, right, about you when they're in your company? And be open to receiving it, because it's the parts that we're refusing and denying, and often the ones that we resist, that are talents, that are actually our essence. They're our gold. They're our true nature. And when you stop resisting that, and you really start to remember the 99.9% of what's bright and brilliant and wonderful about you, that 0.01% of criticism or somebody making you wrong doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you have to stop it if you're going into the self-sabotaging talk, or you're obsessing about the person that, you know, made a remark on your Facebook page yesterday, or criticized you in the traffic, or made you wrong at work, or whatever it is. And just change the story. Widen your perspective, and just love who you are. Love who you are, and ask people that you know what they love about you. Right? So a recap quickly, you know, it's really about the good news being you're not as fucked up as you think you are, and that we're actually all fucked up. Okay? Right, brilliant. That's you. I know it is, Anjana. You know, we're here. The only reason that we're all here, choosing to be embodied, walking on the planet in these beautiful bodies on this beautiful earth at this time, is because your soul wants the physical experience to evolve and grow and give and gain more experience. It's the only reason. And your soul's pretty much a slut for that experience. You know, she's willing to do whatever she wants. She has no point of view about whether it's going to be easy or hard. She's just like, I'm here for this experience, and I will have it any way up. So the moment that you actually decide to change your point of view, everything changes. You get to laugh more, you get to have more joy, you get to have more of what you want and less of what you don't want. Hi, Monique. Unfuckwithable. Don't you love that word? I love that word so much. So, you know, a lot of people have been saying as well, you know, isn't there a time when you actually do need to end things? You know, when do you learn to quit, or when do you actually keep going? And my answer that I actually often use with my relationship clients, my partners who are going through rough patches and questioning whether they're done with each other and whether it's time to move on, or whether there's something that they need to look at, I always say to them, you can leave now. You can leave now. You can come back in the next life and you will find each other again. You will do it again until you resolve it. And, you know, I always kind of laugh at how cute, not bright I was. I remember the first time, you know, I married my business partner, not my brightest, most shining moment. Was it fate? Absolutely. You know, did we have great times? Absolutely. But I remember the night before I walked down the aisle, I said to my best friend, I shouldn't be doing this. And had I known now what I know, had I known then what I know now, we would have just had a big fat party anyway and forgotten the wedding vows and the contracts and the ceremonies, because it didn't end so well. right? But the gift is that it did, and you've got to just take those moments of ending, whether you choose it or whether life throws it at you, because that's part of your journey and your soul's evolution, and choose to learn from it and grow from it and move on. You know, so we always have a choice, and the choice is, what do I do? What can I do to refine my frequency, right? As this beautiful freak of nature, I'm willing to turn the volume up and be the best frequency in resonance to what I'm here to do in my unique way, as a maverick, as a shaker-upper, right? And not get offended when people say I'm a shit stirrer or I stir the pot, or, you know, it's just like, and also look at, are you bored? Because I see a lot of people that actually create trauma, drama, and emergency because they're bored. So you have to be willing to get really, really, really aware with consistency to observe, you know, what is in play, and is it something that you want that's going to rise up your frequency and raise other people's frequencies up with you? And are you going to be kind and adjust and refine and love whatever arises? And most of the time, it's not that easy. When you're in a crisis, when the shit hits the fan, when life throws you a curveball, it's not always easy to laugh about the fact that this is the experience that you chose it. Just like I always say to people, don't feel sorry for the beggar on the side of the road. Don't feel sorry for the dog that's decided to be a stray. You know, honor that is the experience that they're choosing, because it's maybe an experience they haven't had anymore, and send them love and gratitude, because it's just about the experience. You know, so if you find yourself in a crisis right now, you want to ask yourself, you know, call in your angels, call in your team guides, call in your spirit, call in your higher wise self, you know, call in the angels, do whatever you have to do, and ask yourself, in the middle of those heartbreak or healing crisis or loss of your business or your life or your money or people that you love, ask yourself, how can I serve here? How can I uplift whatever this energy is and transmute it into something that not only do I win, but the people around me win because of it? You know, we're looking for a win-win all the time. So, you know, when crisis hits, I'm always willing to go take a step backward and ask, how can I refine my frequency? And how can I do that in a consistent way, right? How can I keep doing it knowing it's day to day? You know, it's just like, I'm here to serve. And maybe I didn't do a really good job in the last lifetime, and this is the experience that I wanted. If you're into karma, it's not good or bad, it just is, right? So turn your trauma into dharma. I can laugh now when I find myself moving in to give people, and because I love giving, and I'm going, how can I help? What can I do? Because that's what I'm here to do. And when I do that, it's not a distraction, right? Sometimes you got to look at, okay, am I distracting myself from actually feeling so I can heal whatever's going on for me? But a lot of the time, it's just like, that's my nature. That is my essence, and I cannot refuse it. So, you know, I'm here to serve. How can I serve you? That makes me really, really happy. We're all here to serve. We all want better. So, you know, turn off your PC, stop watching this, stop watching this conversation, you know, have a look around. We've just had the most beautiful storm outside. We're getting to the end of summer here, and we go into our dry season, the winter, right? The contraction, the metal element, and the water element has been very scarce in a lot of South Africa this year. I'm so grateful for the rain. It made me really happy, even though I had to go out and drive in it. I was super happy, right? So look around and ask, what is the nature of things and what is important to you? And ask, who can I help in this moment? Who can I help in this moment? Not from distraction, but from filling yourself up, from being in a place of service. That's success. That's what makes us, that's what drives us forward into living with more ease and flow and grace and peace and freedom. You know, when you do enough and you serve enough and you keep giving, you're uplifting the frequency of the earth. We are uplifting the frequency of the planet. That is the energy of gold and silver and precious jewels and money. Loves fun, high vibe frequencies. Animals live in that space all the time. Nature is high. Nature is high. So I say, never talk to a dog or an animal that you love, an animal companion that you are concerned about their health or their well-being from a place of low vibrational frequency, because it doesn't feel good. Like the water people, they know the minute things get heavy, they don't feel good, right? So they need to have really good boundaries, water people, to make sure that they don't get sucked into those low vibrational frequencies, those heavy energies. So we're always looking at boundaries and how you hold your space, and also where you got leaky buckets, you know, where you're draining your energy out. So that was my little daily dose of true nature medicine for you today. I hope it was fun to go and have a little brief look about around the elements. I know I promised that I would talk more about the distractor implants of anger and control and guilt and blame and shame, and I will do that, but I just kind of felt cool today to just share some of what the nature of things is, because it's been coming up so much in my life, in my family, in my client's life, in my friend's life, where we're like so focused on that 1% of wrongness and not looking at the 99.9% strongness and resilience and beauty and power that you actually are. So pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention. There's clues everywhere. The little God winks are everywhere. And there's synchronicity is all over. I spoke about synchronicity yesterday, about how leaving don't close doors. Leaving doors open. Always allowing those doors to open, and also knowing when it's time to close doors, but not lock them. So, you know, when you start to look at the synchronicity of that, and also that there's opportunity, everything, and that you can start to receive that in the crisis, right? Because we actually enjoy the kick in the ass. We actually love the trauma, drama, and emergency. It's just part of who we are. It's our human nature to judge. So when you stop denying that, when you stop trying to control everything, and you just let go, everything raises in its vibration. You know, so you want to be looking at hanging out with fun people, right? Hanging out with people that are high vibe. Angels are up there. Your guides are up there. Nature's there. The animals are there. I love all those. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you, sweetheart. So find your way to get into high vibe. Easiest way to do that is go and be kind to someone else. Ask somebody else what they need. Be in gratitude. Have appreciation for your gifts. And keep moving that energy like we're doing around the feeding cycle of the 5 elements of traditional Chinese medicine. You know, the fire feeds the wood feeds the earth. The earth needs watering. You know, when wood is not watered, it gets brittle and it breaks. So you want to be looking at the season for everything. And keep moving. Be aware of your frequency. Be aware of the frequency of people and things around you. And, you know, when people piss me off, when I'm feeling triggered, I actually do the happy dance, which is what kind of provoked this call or prompted this conversation today. It's like I was getting seriously triggered by something that somebody was doing, not to me. I just was like, are you kidding? you're talking about something and you're actually doing the opposite. You know, say like you do and do like you say. It just wasn't happening, and I was like, are you insane? How can you be doing that? And it was pissing me off, and then I actually had to go into that water element of looking at the reflection, you know, 2 fingers pointing back at you, and see, wow, you know, how can I use that to not just to my advantage but to the people around me, and let go of the control, right? Use it as an opportunity to grow, to give, so that you can grow more and gain more and give more, because ultimately that's what makes us feel better as human beings. We want to know that we're part of something bigger and that we have made a difference somehow in our own way. So let go of control. You have much better orgasms and orgasmic living when you let go of the controls of how you think things need to show up. And I think half of the reason is because we're living in so much collective fear right now. And I know, you know, you have to just be willing to trust that you are safe. You're safe and you're protected. All your needs are met. I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. And I know this because I created it. We forget how powerful we are. When I had my own armed robbery and a gun to my baby's head, that I had been in a place of feeling very unsafe. And like attracts like, right? Same as the results. You know, if you want a different result, you need to stop doing what you did yesterday that got you what you didn't want. You have to track and measure it, and you have to be willing to make a decision and do it consistently, right? You can't just do it once. You have to consistently be in the practice and in the mastery of the training. You know, training days, change your mindset. The Dharma is just the Dharma, right? Walk through the journey. Walk through the journey and celebrate it. Love whatever arises. Love whatever arises. Okay? So, that's it. Post your comments and questions. Oh, I'm glad. I'm so happy to hear that, Corleen, or as somebody said to me the other day, pleasure. And I love that. Please ensure in the same sentence is, you know, ask and you shall receive. So it's a very different energy, a very high vibrational frequency. So thank you for joining me. I hope it was as fun for you as it was for me. And what else is possible? And I know I'm seeing some of you at my beautiful client Lynn Decker's launch at Fruck Me Up of her new winter preview and her launch of her 3-word signature style to success. Dress yourself to success. Tomorrow at Fruck Me Up. So I look forward to seeing you if you're coming. If you're interested in coming and you're in Johannesburg, come and join us, and you will see an invitation on my page. It's in Linden, 4 to 7. Beautiful champagne, beautiful company, lots of love, and gorgeous gorgeous clothes, beautiful adornments for your sweet body who loves fine, gorgeous things that make it feel good. So I'll see you tomorrow if you're in Johannesburg, and otherwise let me know what's coming up for you. Let me know what has been irritating you, if this conversation changed anything for you. And if you're interested in doing the 5-element quiz, hop on over to Access Your True Nature and take the quiz, and let me know what your primary and your secondary element is. And it would translate probably very accurately into your north and your south node on your spiritual astrology. And if you want to know more about that, the Pathways to Purpose mapping journey is listed in the store. It's an 8-week journey that is phenomenal. My clients love it because they really get to know who they are, and they get to start to use what they've seen as handicaps that are actually their innate talents and capacities to their advantage to do the work that they love and create the living and the money and the freedom of time to spend more time with their kids and more time traveling or whatever it is that lights them up. So if that interests you, take a look. And until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.